Hello everyone, Morgira here again, doing part 2 of our D&D monsters ranked by how scary they are. Finishing up hopefully today because we have a lot of them to get through. I'm just going to fix one thing I did from last week where I had Hezro. These guys are not actually that scary. I thought they were scarier than they actually are. So we'll move them down to pretty spooky because they're still scary, but they're not as scary. They're not in my super scary level. So Aarakocra, not scary, just people. Aasimar, not scary, just people. Myrmidon. Where'd I put air elementals? I put them somewhere in here. Yeah, they're just stronger air elementals. They do appear to be wearing armor, so I don't know if they're like invisible. So maybe a little less scary than air elementals, because I think air elementals can be invisible. Androsphinx, not scary. It's at least not in D&D. I've seen sphinxes look pretty darn scary, but this sphinx is not scary. Okay, so we have awakened plants. Not really scary, in my opinion. Blink dogs, not scary. They're just good boys. Brass dragon, not scary. Bronze dragon, not scary. Bullet could be creepy if you play up on the whole like land shark jaws hiding underground and coming up and attacking you situation. You could probably make that creepy somehow. Bullywugs, they're just frog people. Centaurs, they're just half horse people. Changelings, not scary. They have less of the monstrousness of doppelgangers to them, so I don't find them scary. Again, they're just people. Cloud giants, not scary. I just consider most giant societies to be just people. Copper dragon, not scary. Crystal dragon, not scary. Dao, not scary. They are genies from the earth elemental plane. Deep gnomes, again, just people. Devas are angels, not terribly scary, except unless they are whatchamacallit, biblically accurate angels. Those things are a little scary, but this kind of angel, not scary. Dinosaurs, not scary. I love dinosaurs, even the ones that were scary. They're pretty cool. They're more cool than anything. Dire wolves, could be creepy. You could play up the whole like being hunted, being stalked, howling. So they could be scary, but they're not on their face very scary. Displacer beasts. Again, they can teleport around. You could play that up, but they're not very scary, but so you could play it somehow. Jinn are air elemental genies, not scary. Dolphin delighters is the least scary thing on the planet. It's literally smiling and they're like known to be nice. Draconian are dragon people from a certain setting. I'm not sure which one, I can't remember. But not scary. Dragonborn, just people. Drow, just people. Dryad, pretty plant ladies. I don't find them very scary. Duergar, just people. Dwarf, we're going to be saying just people a lot for these. Earth elementals. Again, you might be able to play up the same thing with the bullet as like they're sneaking up on you and underground, but I don't find they're much less scary than the air elementals and the fire elementals, I think, in my opinion. Earth Myrmidon, same thing. Could be creepy if you really pushed it, maybe. Lion Drake, not scary. Lizard folk, just people. Magmin. I gotta check what a Magmin is. Apparently Magmin are like the fire elemental version of imps, which I already thought were mephits, but these guys they're kind of gremlin-y. They have like a gremlin-y energy, but I don't think they're very scary. They're kind of too little and cute. Manas. Oh, yeah, these are like a type of demon, I think. And they're really gross. Yeah, so they're either manas or manes, but they are a very low tier demon, and they are basically like big, gross, rotting pustule people. Yeah, they're gross. I put them in pretty spooky just on the grossness factor. Manticore. A little scary. They could be a little scary. You know, especially at low levels. They're like a chimera, but a little bit, they got the scorpion tail going on. They got the human face, which is a little freaky. So I would say they could be creepy. Merid. These are water genies. Despite this art, which I don't really particularly like for them, I do find it funny that the other genies look very humanoid, and then these guys are just there looking like frog guys. That's just a personal thing. I like the Pathfinder Merid art better, where it's a water person. But off topic. don't find them scary. A little bit strange on the artistic choice maybe, but don't find them scary. Merilith. Snake ladies with a lot of arms. Intimidating, not scary to me. But intimidating, certainly. They're very high level. Now, Marut. I don't know. Marit? Don't know how to pronounce this thing, but it is a giant robot with one giant eye, and they're strong, and I find them pretty spooky, personally. It's just the biological eye in the center of a giant, extremely strong robot. I find it a little creepy, personally. Marezi. These guys look not nice. They've got some teeth. So I'm gonna put them in pretty spooky. They are demons. Marezi, they are demons. They are similar to ghouls, but apparently if they eat deceased flesh, they get all the memories of the person who died, which is pretty messed up. Not a huge fan of that. I'm gonna move them up pretty high, because that's pretty bad. That's pretty existential and scary. Okay, so next we've got Maw Demons. I love these guys. They could be creepy. They're really freaky looking. They basically are a guy cut in half with eyes all over it. But they're kind of funny to me. They're freaky but funny. So I'm gonna put them in, for me personally, could be creepy because, like, you know, they're mostly, they attack in swarms because they're not very strong. And like, they are freaky looking, but I don't know, something about them kind of like tickles me in a weird way, but definitely could be creepy. They're definitely not scary at all. Okay, Measle. Measles are a little bit freaky. They can teleport. They choke you. They have a garret that they get around your neck, and then they teleport you with it to a dark place so that they can kill you by strangulation. So yeah, they could definitely be creepy, especially if you have some of them like attacking a party in the middle of the night. They can't, especially like, and it's dark and they can't see. Those guys are they could be pretty creepy. Medusa, intimidating, not scary. Like, the idea of them is scary, but I usually just end up feeling bad for most Medusas because of the myth behind Medusa is very sad. Yeah, you know what? I'll put her into could be creepy because there's the whole like petrification thing with her as well. But, you know, I just always end up like wondering what Medusa's story is, even as a D&D creature. But that's just me. Meanlock. These could be creepy. They're like a scorpion, underdark things. Yeah, they're just a little, they're a little slimy, a little gross. Mephits. I don't find Mephits scary at all. I think they're funny. They explode when they die, which is a little bit annoying, but they're just little guys they're like little mosquito guys who are different forms depending on what elemental plane they're from. Merfolk, not scary, just people. Maragon, baby-faced devils? Yeah, I don't like them. For me, they're super scary. They're these big scary devils with these baby face masks, and just the idea that they went for a baby face is kind of creepy. As on a judgment on their character, that's a little creepy. I'm not a fan. Okay, so we have Marinaloth, which are very typical Grim Reaper-y looking things. So definitely not. I'll put them into pretty spooky because it's a Grim Reaper. They are on the river Styx. They have a boat. They're dressed like the Grim Reaper. They got that whole thing going for them. So yeah, they could be scary. They could be pretty spooky. Marrow. Marrow are like fish people that dislike merfolk. They've got like a whole thing with merfolk where they don't like each other. But I don't find them particularly scary. They're just evil merfolk, basically. Metallic Peacekeeper. Okay, so if you have seen Arcane Season 2, this looks very familiar to what you've seen in that. Similar to that. So they could be creepy because constructs can be creepy, and the ones in Arcane Season 2 definitely a little bit creepy. So I would say it could be creepy, but they also look very cool. So depends on how you feel about robots. A Mezzaloth is like a cockroach. Yeah, so Mezzaloths are like the weakest Eucaloths. They look a little cockroachy. Yeah, it could be creepy, but not terribly to me. Just but you know, it is a Yugoloth, so. Mimics. Mimics could be creepy for sure. Yeah. Just the fact that you can't trust that anything you interact with could possibly be a mimic. The whole shape-shifting, the whole the sticky tongue that grabs you and can pull you in. Like, there's a lot going on with mimics. There's such a meme in the D&D community. I don't find them very scary anymore, but they have some creepy qualities to them for sure. Mind flayers. Mind flayers are definitely super scary, and also the way they're made is super scary. So yeah, like the idea behind it that you get like a thing in your head and then it grows and then it turns you into a mind flayer and you're not yourself anymore. You're like this thing that's like part of a hive mind. The idea behind them is super scary, so I'll put them in super scary. Mind witness. Oh, I think I know what this thing looks like and I do not like it. Don't like it. Oh, I'm just gonna put it straight up into nightmare fuel for me. I don't want to look up the big art. I know I don't like this thing. I can tell it's all fleshy. It looks like the Beholder zombie, but more like alive. Ugh, not a fan. Minotaur, they're just people. Modron. Modrons are cute, not scary. Maladius. So this is like a werewolf with a snake. And apparently they're like 12 feet tall, and they're demons. They're very strong demons, like Baylor level sized or monsters, like for CR level. They're like Baylor level or Balor level, however you pronounce it. I've never seen one before. It just looks like a werewolf with armor, like looks wise. So I don't find it very scary. I'll say it could be creepy just because, like, if you played it right, you could be like, oh, a werewolf creature in your players are like, we can handle a werewolf. That's not that strong. And then it's like this extremely powerful demon. You could do that. So it could be creepy, but I don't find it very scary. Moonstone dragon, not scary. Morkoth don't scare me that much just because they got this little beak that's very unintimidating. But they do have that fleshy quality that I don't like. So I'll put it into pretty spooky for that, but they just look like grumpy birds. They look like angry birds. And they got tentacles. I guess, yeah, they don't scare me as much as some of the other things that are fleshy with tentacles do. But a mummy and a mummy lord. Yeah, definitely pretty spooky. And the mummy lord especially is just a stronger version of the mummy. Oh, where'd he go? Mummy. Oh my god, I lost him. I lost the mummy somewhere. Oh, there he is. Found him. He's definitely... Yeah, we'll put him in above Morkoth, because they're much scarier than Morkoth. Yeah, just the fact that they're undead. You know, they've got magic. They're like magic undead, like spellcasting undead. That's a little scary. So yeah, I would say that. Myconids, I don't think myconids are scary. Nabasu. Okay, so these guys look like imps, but they're actually very strong. So I'll definitely put them in could be creepy. They're like soul stealers. That's kind of their thing that they like to do. But again, design-wise, they look like imps. They're just way scarier and stronger. I don't know. There's a lot of demons. Nagpa. These guys are demons, I believe, or monstrosities, but they're like bird things. I thought they were just... they look like the things from the Dark Crystal. Skeksis. They look like Skeksis whenever I see them, except they're a little less fleshy than a Skeksi. They look like a Skeksi. They probably would be higher on the list, but I don't find them very scary looking, or they're just strong creatures. Now, Feshni. These are the giant boar demons, like bipedal boar demons with little tiny wings, but they can teleport, so they don't really need the wings. Yeah, I would say they're probably pretty scary. Not super scary, but definitely pretty scary. They're strong. They look really gross. Like they're naked and furry in all the wrong places. They're just, they look gross, but they're also very strong. And I wouldn't want to see one in real life, so I'll put them in pretty spooky. Narzagon. They're like paladins that live in the hells that work for the devil rulers of the hells. So they're pretty spooky. Yeah, so, and they're strong too. And they ride nightmares, which is badass, but also a little scary. Neogi. Oh, I don't like these. I don't like Neogi. Neogi are like praying mantis creatures, but worse. With big, long worm heads. I don't like them. They're scary to me. Yeah, I just double checked and they're like, so they're not like, they're like spidery things with really long worm necks. And yeah, yuck, not a fan. Neothilids. Oh yeah, no, I don't like these. These are nightmare fuel for me. No. Not a fan. They're basically they're like a failed elder, or it's like a, no. They're not a failed elder brain. They're like a mutated tadpole that turns into basically like a tadpole serpent, and it's huge and it's gross and I don't like it. Night hag. Night hags are pretty spooky. They are some of the stronger hags. They are part fiend, like part devil. So yeah, I'd say I'll put them up with the other hags for sure. They're pretty scary. I gotta rearrange all these for sure. A nightmare. Nightmare is a fire, undead, devil, fire, unicorn horse. Could be creepy. Especially nightmares are usually ridden by really powerful fiends. So yeah, put those together. It could be pretty scary. Night walkers. These things are super scary. Not nightmare fuel for me, but they're like so tall. Like they look like they'd be human size, but they aren't, because in the picture you see a little tiny human standing beside them. They're like 30 feet tall. Their very essence like hurts you. Yeah, they're creepy. I don't like them. They're not personal nightmare fuel for me, but I do not like them. Okay. Nilbog. Nilbogs are not scary. They're just funny. They are chaotic magic spirits that take over goblin bodies. Nothic. I'm gonna say Nothics could be creepy because I have been creepy I've had a Nothic NPC in my party once and they said it was very creepy. But boy, I just liked them. I'll move them. Pretty spooky, because if I'm going by what would scare me, if I saw that in real life, oh boy, that would be scary. But gosh darn, I just like them as a monster. They're just fun. They just want secrets. They want to eat your secrets. They love secrets. It makes them happy. Nupparibo. Oh, these are bad. These are bad. I can't remember if they're devils or demons, but basically if you were really, really bad, when you first went to one of these places, you would turn into a lemure or the other thing that I always forget, a dretch. But if you were really, really, really bad, you would be a Nupparibo, which in one of those places, and it would basically be that, except you're huge, like pustule mass, and your mouth and eyes are all sewn shut. I dislike them so much. They're so gross and scary. I think they explode too when they die. Ugh, they're so yuck. I just double check the art and I'm like, yeah. If you were a really, really bad person who was incompetent, so, which is just kind of seems like add fuel to the fire on how much you dislike this person, but yeah, I don't like these. Okay, continuing on. Nikolas. Yeah, they could be spooky. They're just like typical, they're Yugoloths that, you know, look kind of like the guy from Marvel. I can't remember what he's called, but the mutant guy from Marvel who likes to make clones in the comics. Anyway, they look like that. Oakenbolter. Not scary. It's just a big catapult. Oblex. Oh, yeah. Oblex. They're pretty scary. I'll put them in nightmare fuel. So imagine an ooze that was made of souls. And then it could pretend to be a person to sneak up on you. Yeah. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Ochre jelly. I'm gonna put that with the other ones where it could be scary. All the puddings could be scary if you did like if you played it up like the Blob, which was pretty scary in like a can't stop it kind of way. You could make those creepy. You could make them creepy. Ogre, they're not really scary. They're just big brutes. Oinoloth. Oh, yeah, these guys, super scary just on a grossness level. They're just pustule demons, or pustule Yugoloths. And they're strong. They look like they're in pain all the time, and they're probably taking it out on you. Yeah, Onis. I like Onis. They could be pretty spooky. They can pretend to be other people. They have a whole bunch of myths about them. Look at that smile. Him and the burr hag. I'm gonna put them together. These two get together on weekends and cause trouble for people. Look at those smiles. They're so happy to be alive. And doing bad. Orcs are just people. An Orog is just a type of orc. I don't know who that is. Is Orog a type of orc? Okay, an Orog is just an orc that lives in the Underdark. I guess there's a Underdark version of everything. They're just people. Orthon. I forget how many of these things there are. How many undead options there are in D&D. Orthon. Pegasus. I'm just gonna do this. Pegasus, not scary. Owlbear, intimidating, because they're strong, not scary. I'll just do Phoenix, not scary. I'm just gonna grab some of these. Oh, you're a piercer. You stay here. You're scary. There we go. Phoenix, not scary. Pixie, not scary. Planetar, not scary. There, got rid of some. Pseudo Dragon, not scary. Yeah, we got rid of some things here. Quickling, not scary. Okay. Orthon. I have to find out what about these things. I just know they're undead. Actually, they're not undead. They're big broody devils, with tusks on the side of their head. And I guess this is just their little face. I don't know. Not super scary. Put that at the bottom. They're just big strong devils. Oteogs. Oteogs should freak me out, but I've used them for so many things, that they don't scare me. They're trash monsters. They're trash monsters. They eat the trash in cities. They'll eat anything, so cities put them in their sewer systems to just eat up the trash and other stuff that goes down there. So, like, despite the fact they're kind of scary looking, they're actually serving a public good, so they're not that scary. So I'll put them in could be creepy as the fact that it's a big thing with a lot of teeth. But, yeah, not scary. Periton, these guys are goofy looking. They're like flying chimeras. They're not very strong. They kind of have a goofy face. Phase spiders. If you don't like spiders, could be creepy. Don't bother me, but depending on who you are, could be creepy. Piercers. I don't like these things. I'm gonna put them in pretty spooky. They're little slimy worm things that can pierce into you and get into your body. Not my kind of thing. Pit fiends. Pit fiends could be creepy. Strong devil. High level devil. Looks wise, not very scary. Poltergeist. This art is amazing. So I'll put them in pretty spooky because it is a more violent ghost. So normal ghosts are down here. Yeah, more scary ghost that can do more damage and has cool art that makes it look much more spooky. Purple worm. Purple worm, pretty scary. They're basically the dune worm. Yeah, I'll put it in here. Dune worm. Strong. Wild. Can easily kill you. Very poisonous. Could be pretty spooky. Chagoth. These guys are just cute. They're just... I think they're like... Or, sorry, I said Chagoth. Why did I say Chagoth? Quagoth. They're just guys who live in the Underdark. They're a little bit more bestial, but considered humanoids, so they're just people. Closets. Not scary. They're the imps of the demon world. Yeah, if you have played Baldur's Gate, you can get a closet with a variety, you can name it a variety of things. I always name mine Fork, because I think that's funny. But yeah, they're tiny little demons. They're very weak. You can summon them as familiars. They're not scary. Quippers are just piranhas. A little more angry piranhas. Rakshasas, not scary to look at, but they can do a lot of things. They are immune to all low-level magic. If you kill one, they have a vendetta against you forever. They can make themselves look like other people, so they got that whole thing going on. I don't think they're very scary. They're not very scary looking, but you could use them in a creepy way. Red caps, not scary. Kind of funny. The idea behind them is kind of scary. They have, like, their hats are red with blood. That's why they're red. But their thing of attacking is running at you with their big ironclad boots and, like, kicking you with them really hard. And it's kind of just funny. Let's put them in could be creepy, because I guess they are very bloodthirsty. They carry around knives to stab people with. But the idea of something running at you and just kicking you really hard with its big iron boots is just kind of funny to me. So very low on the could be creepy. Red dragon. Not scary. Intimidating as all heck. Not scary. Like, not scary in the way I'm describing scary. Intimidating. Yes. Not scary in the way I'm describing scary. Remoraz. If you had a purple worm and gave it a scary face. Scary bug face. So, pretty spooky. Retriever. Scary robot that retrieves people. Idea that behind that is kind of spooky. Who are they getting? If that's their whole job, who are they getting? Why are they grabbing people? Scary. They look a lot like, again, a little bit like the things from Dark Crystal that go and grab them. I guess they're more like bugs, but it is like a metallic bug spider thing. Revenant. People could be they're just fine. They're just people who are undead because they have a goal that they're trying to accomplish. Not that scary. Rock are just big birds. They're just living their lives. They're giant. Ropers. Put them up with something. Ropers are, where is that other thing that pretends to be stalactites? These guys pretend to be stalagmites, and I hate them just as much. Where are they? I know I put them up high, because I hate them. Dark mantles. Yeah, ropers and dark mantles, I'll put them a bit lower, because they're not that high on here, but I hate both of them. Fleshy, gross things that pretend to be other things just for you to sneak up. I hate them. I hate them. Look. Rug of Smothering. Not scary to look at. It's just a rug. It's an animated rug that tries to kill you, but it's just a rug. Ooh, rot trolls. Yuck. Yuck. Yeah. Gross. Undead trolls. Yuck. Rust monsters. They could be creepy, but they're just trying to eat. They just want to eat your stuff. They just want to eat your stuff. They want to make stuff rust and then eat it. That's their whole thing. They look like bugs, so if bugs freak you out, they could be creepy, but they're just trying to live. And you just happen to be the best source of metal around because you're wearing metal armor. They just want to eat your stuff. Rudderkins. Oh. Yeah. Pretty spooky. Yucky. Don't like them. Yucky. Okay. So who again? Not scary. Kind of goofy looking. Same as Marrow. I don't find them scary. Salamanders. They're not that bad. They're just fire guys. Sapphire Dragon. Intimidating. Not scary. Satyrs. Just people. Scarecrow. Particularly this art of the Scarecrow. Pretty spooky. Scarecrow are like... Are they undead or constructs? I can't remember. But they're pretty scary. Especially this art. Yeah, in D&D they are constructs. And they're animated by the soul of a slain evil creature. So, you know... Could be scary. Very Jeepers Creepers vibes if you've seen or heard of that movie. It's not a good movie, but that's kind of the vibe. He pretends to be a scarecrow, I think. I haven't seen it for like 20 years, but... Sea elf. They're just people. Sea hag. Sea hags are a little scary. I think they're the least scary of the hags, so I'm gonna put them in. Could be creepy. Sea serpent. Not scary. It's the same as a dragon. This art of it, though, is so funny to me. The big gaping mouth, it just makes me laugh. Sea spawn. They could be creepy. They're like, they're very similar to sea hags. Sea hags like to make sea spawn. They're like undead, mutated things that a sea hag or a kraken controls and sends after people. So yeah, so kind of like a zombie fish man. Would be creepy. Shadowkai. They're just people. Oh my god, I see the end of the list, guys. We're making it. Shadow. Oh, yeah. These are pretty spooky. They're like invisible shadows. They like leech the life out of you. They're pretty scary. Especially, again, that art is doing a lot of work there. Shadow demon. Same idea. Just stronger. And a demon. Yeah. Pretty scary. Shadow mastiff is just a doggy. It's just a doggy. Not scary. Shield Guardian, animated armor. Not super scary. Where is it? We'll put it with the animated armor. Similar idea, except these guys are usually put to protect something particularly, but you could make it spooky. Shifter, just people. Shosuva. Okay. They're like hyenas with scorpion tails. Demons. They're fine. They work for Yunagu, who is a demon. Yeah. Would be creepy. Sibriax. Oh, do I want to look this up? I feel like I'm not going to like it. I'm going to put you here. Yeah. I better look up Sibriax. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to like it by the way it looks here. Yeah, Sibriax. I don't like them. I don't like them. I don't like them at all. They're going to be up here. Yeah. They're gross and scary. I find a lot of the stuff that I find Nightmare Fuel is the gross and scary. Yeah. Skeletons! Skeletons have to go in pretty spooky just by the fact that they are skeletons. Skeletons in D&D are kind of like fodder. But, you know, you fight a whole bunch of them, they can overwhelm you. But when you have a cleric in your party with turn undead, skeletons kind of not great. But, you know, they have to be in pretty spooky just by the sake that they're skeletons. Skulk. Skulk are like invisible friends. I don't think they're evil, but they definitely could be creepy. Just by the fact that they're like, they describe them as being kids. If kids say they see something that adults can't see, that's usually a skulk. And that's just a creepy description. That's like some of the Pokemon Pokedex descriptions right there. So it's just like, we're going to put that in could be creepy because you could definitely work with that as a DM and make that scary. Skull Lord. Oh, it's a 3-headed skull. Yeah, you're not very creepy. I like their 3 heads. They kind of make me smile, but pretty spooky just because it is a big, strong undead. A Slod. Ooh, I like Slods. Could be creepy. I think they can also pretend to be other people. They are, they're not demonic, but they're definitely not nice. And they're frog-like, and they're quite strong. They have a very similar birthing process to a Mind Flayer. So, yeah. I guess in that, I'll just move them up to pretty spooky because their whole birthing process is very similar to a Mind Flayer, and that's not good. They're just less scary than a Mind Flayer. A Slithering Tracker. These are gross water things. I don't like them. Yeah, they're creepy. They're like water undead things. Yeah, they're pretty spooky. I don't like them. Solar, not scary. They're just buff angels. Sorrowsworn. Oh boy, these guys are pretty spooky. All of the sorrow things. Spawn of Cuse? Oh, spectators aren't as scary. But I'll put them in could be creepy. They're a little less creepy than their big bros. A Spectre. That's the same image as a Poltergeist, so I guess you'll go with that. You'll go with them. It's just the same picture. Spine of Cuse. Okay, so it's kind of like... It's worms that make zombies, and they can spread the worms around and infect other people. So yeah, that is, just pretty scary. Just by the sake of, like you got all that, you got, like, that Last of Us zombie thing going on, except for spores, it's worms. Yeah. Definitely could be. Spine Devil... I feel very much like this is a weaker bone devil, so I'm gonna say not scary from... I guess it is a devil. Could be creepy, but, like, not very. Spirit Nagas, they're not scary. They're, like, snake people. Spirit Trolls or Ghost Trolls. Pretty spooky. I find them actually less scary than the normal trolls because the whole, like, gross bits are less... Ghosts are less gross than fleshy bits, in my opinion. So, Sprite. Nope, they're not scary. I always forget sprites exist. Steeder. These are spiders that people ride. Could be creepy just because they're spiders. Steel Predator. Looks like a xenomorph. But steel. A xenomorph made out of metal. Yep. If a xenomorph had 4 legs and was made of metal, that would be a steel predator. So. Sturge. They're little mosquitoes. They suck your blood, which I guess could be creepy. I better move it up. But not scary to me. Stone Cursed. Oh, these are statues that are animated statues that can attack you. That's pretty spooky. Just because, like, you could be walking through an area with a bunch of statues is already scary, and then some of those statues come alive and try to attack you. That's pretty spooky. Stone Defender. I don't think very scary. It doesn't have that fleshy eye like the Marut has, so... Stone Giant, they're just people. Stone Golem, they could be good or bad. Storm Giant, just people. Succubus, not scary. They have a lot of things to mess with you, but not scary. They're just attractive demons or devils. Tabaxi, I don't know where I put Incubus. Yeah, I put Incubus and not scary too. Okay, Tabaxi, they're just people. Tanaruk. Tanaruks are like demon orcs, I think? So it could be spooky. So a Tanaruk or a Tanaruk, how do you pronounce it? They are like orcs that have been mutated by demon blood. So yeah, if you play up that mutation, that could be creepy. Tarask. Intimidating? Godzilla. Do I find Godzilla personally scary? No. Would I be incredibly intimidated and flee from Godzilla because I wouldn't want to get crushed? Yes. So, not personally scary to me, not my personal scariness, but I certainly would want to get out of his way. Thorny veggie pygmy. They are plant mold things. Not super scary to me. Three keen. They're just bug people. They're just minding their own business. Tiefling. They're just people. Tinkali. Oh my god, I keep having to look these guys up. I thought I knew most of these. Tinkali are scorpion people? I guess they could be creepy if you don't like scorpions, but I think they're just people. Topaz dragon, not scary. Tortles, adorable, not scary. Trapper. I can't even see this picture now. I need to look this up. Lurkers are apparently very similar creatures. So where did I put lurkers on here? Okay, I think I got lurker and cloaker mixed up, but I think they're similar creatures. They're called cloaker in 5e. I don't know if they're called trapper or lurkers in 5e. Anyway, similar creature, I put them together. But tree ants aren't scary. They're strong, but they're not scary. Tritons are just people. Troglodytes, they're the stinky guys. Not scary, they're just people. Stinky people, but just people. Oh, trolls are pretty spooky. No, I'll put them in could be creepy. Because the other types of trolls are much worse. These guys, Ulitharid. They are, I believe... Ulithrids are just super strong mind flayers. So, we'll put them all together. Because they're all kind of the same level of, like, yucky, of scary. Morgan's not a fan of them. Ultraloth, they look like aliens. So, could be creepy. They look like little green men. Even though they're Yugoloths, that's what they very clearly look like. Umber Hulk. Could be creepy. They have that whole confusion ability. They're strong, they're big. They have kind of a bug-like quality to them. So yeah, they could be creepy. Unicorn, not least scary thing in the world. Vampire. Do vampires... I suppose they could be creepy if you really play up the horror of them, but... I don't find them very scary. Cambions aren't up here. Yeah, I'll just... I don't find vampires. Vampires are interesting villains. They're intimidating villains. They aren't really scary to me. Vampire spawn, even less so. They're just weaker. Vampiric mist. Now this stuff is pretty scary. It like sucks the blood out of your body. And could be scary as well. Varghoul. Oh my god, these guys. Kind of funny, but also super scary. If you get infected with those, your head comes off your body, grows wings, and flies away, and your body just dies. So, Varghoul, I don't know how to pronounce it. But, Varghoul, yeah, they're pretty scary, super scary, because the idea behind it is super scary. Like, anything where you're infected with something, but they're also kind of funny, but in like a dark, black comedy kind of way. Yeah, you don't want to get infected with that. Fidget pygmies, they're just people. Venom troll. Oop, these guys are gross. Super scary. I don't like them. Rock, not scary. They also look like Skeksis, but I don't find them scary at all. They're flying demons. Wastrolith, funny fish demons. Water elemental. Could be spooky, I suppose, if you play up the scariness of not being able to see something. Water Myrmidon, same thing. Water Weird is just a weaker water elemental, so I'm going to put that in not scary. Wereboar, not scary. Were-rat, not scary. Were-tiger, not scary. Werewolf. Like, the infection part of them can be scary, where they can transform into you, or to them. Nowadays, people just rule that it's a condition that you have, and that they aren't, they aren't made evil. Like, a werewolf is not necessarily an evil creature, more like a wild creature. So... I don't find them to be very scary anymore, the way most people play them nowadays, and the loss of control is scary, but now most people know what to do with them, so, you know, I don't find them scary anymore. White dragon, not scary, they're just strong and intimidating. Wouldn't want to fight one. White could be creepy, just because due to its being undead. Will-o-wisp could be creepy, just leading you to your death. You could play that up. Winter wolf, it's just a wolf. Again, I figured just one wolf up there is good. Woodwater, just cute little guys. Look like black mages with trees on them. Warg, Not scary, they're just another type of wolf that goblins use. Wraith. This art is pretty creepy, and the idea of wraiths are pretty creepy. Undeads. So definitely could be creepy. Wyverns. Nah, not scary. Zorn. Ooh. Yeah, this is going up here for me. And they're pretty spooky just because yucky. Fleshy. Mouth. Eye. All the things I don't like. Zavart. Those are just... I think they're just annoying little guys. Yagnoloth. Oh, these guys with one big arm, one little arm. They're just funny. They're just funny. I don't find them scary at all. If you look at the art of them, you'll know what I'm talking about. Yathhound are just ugly. They're not scary. They're just ugly. They have human faces, but it's the ugliest face you've ever seen. Not scary. Just make me laugh. Yetis, we'll put you wherever I put gorillas at some point. Where are you? Or not gorillas. Bargulas. Baralguras. The things I can never pronounce. Where did you go? There you go. You can go there with Garistro and Giralon. Yokelals. Ew, gross. Ew. Ew, gross. Ew. Don't like. Yokelals. Ew. Yuan-Ti, just people. Not traditionally not very nice people, but not scary. But nowadays, people don't really rule them that way. Zaratan are just giant turtles. Giant turtle earth elementals, and I love them. Not scary. I suppose one wanting to plow over your house would be not great, but not scary in of themselves. Zombies, just for the fact that they are undead, we'll put them into could be creepy. And there we go! The D&D creatures! Woo, we did it! All the D&D creatures! That's everybody! From most of the books, anyway. Probably a few here that are missing. I didn't see the space clowns or whatever, but that's fine. So yeah, I think these are all about accurate. I'm just kind of looking through anything I want to move higher. These guys are kind of super scary to me just because of the way they look. Yamizu. Yeah, just kind of looking through. Yeah, I think these are all fair. Put Skull Lord ahead the skeletons just because, you know, stronger. The Sorrowsworn are always scary. If you've seen some of the other ones, oof. Spawn of Cuse are scary. Steel Predator. I'm probably gonna move Steel Predator up a little. Let's put Steel Predator above Scarecrow. Zorn, yeah. These are more like you as a DM would have to work a bit to make these scary to me, but it could be done. It could be done. Or I as a DM would have to work to make it scary for other people. Just double checking. Yeah. Maybe I'll move Maw Demon up a little bit, since the Zorn and them are very similar vibes. Do pretty spooky. Double checking again. Oh, Ross Monster, you're just gonna go down here, bud. The only reason you're on this in the could be creepy is because you look like a bug, but you are just a little guy. Yeah. And then all the things that I don't find scary at all. Again, scary for me does not mean intimidating. I would not want to fight some of these creatures. A Merilith, super strong. Don't want to fight. Would be scary to fight. Not scary as an idea. Again, like, what's another one? Tarask, obviously, very intimidating to fight, but not in and of itself, not scary. So, that's kind of the, and I don't know what a B-Rogue is. I don't think I have the book where a B-Rogue is, because I looked it up and it didn't pop up. So, Rogue. But yeah, I hope everybody watching this video has a great Halloween. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I hope you're having a great day. If you're not having a great day, I hope your bad day is over with soon. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye!